after a car accident, your insurance company may ask you to undergo an independent medical exam, but there are some important things you need to keep in mind if you do so. In this week's Know the Law segment, Attorney Tom Sinas joining us to talk about some of the problems with what you guys describe as IMEs, independent med exams.
Right. So first of all, where does this exam process come from?
Sure.
Well, it comes from the Michigan No-Fault Act.
Okay.
The Act itself gives a no-fault insurer the right to request that an injured person be evaluated by a physician of the insurer's choosing.
Okay.
Now, they will call those people independent medical examiners, and other people, depending on the examiner, may say not so independent.
Sure.
And this, of course, is where a lot of the friction comes up. But the idea here was that the insurers would be able to have an evaluation by an injured person that was not the injured person's treating physicians, and they have this right by statute. So if you are the victim of a car accident and you get a notice in the mail from your no-fault insurer about an IME, as they're often called, do not ignore that notice, because you are generally required under the law and under your policy to make reasonable efforts to attend that examination. Now, perhaps it's scheduled at a time that isn't convenient for you, or they haven't given you transportation or other issues. That's something that's certainly worth bringing up, but don't throw this in the garbage. Gotcha. Because it's a right that insurers have. The other thing that people are usually surprised by is that they don't have any input as to who the examining physician is. To be clear, the examining physician is not your doctor. They're there to evaluate you at the request of the insurance company. So what do you need to do? Well, the first thing you need to do is prepare yourself for one of these. You're going to go to an examination by a doctor you've never met before. Right? That person may or may not have received your medical records, and they'll probably walk into the room and ask you a series of questions, and you feel like you can be put on the spot. So think about how you're going to prepare yourself to explain to the physician what it is that's happened to you, what treatment you're receiving, and be as versed as you can in your case so you don't feel flat-footed. One concern that people have is, well, they get the report back, and all of a sudden the doctor says you're not injured, or you don't need any additional treatment. This happens with increasing frequency. I would say, as a lawyer practicing in this area, one thing that troubles me is that there's no regulation about who can do these examinations. So some of them are done by reputable local physicians who devote a small amount of time to this kind of work. Some of them are done by physicians who don't really treat patients anymore. They just do examinations for insurance companies. Unfortunately, you don't get to choose there. So if you get a report that is problematic for you, and you expect that the insurer is going to use it to deny benefits in the future, you need to involve your treating physicians. Okay? Because your treating physicians can offer rebuttal opinions, and they can advocate for you to your insurance company if they believe that there's something flawed about the independent medical examination report. So it's all a very important process. You got to keep track of it. You can't ignore it, but it's certainly not always easy.
Yes, it's frustrating. Again, people need some help and some advice on this topic. Best place to track you guys down? Sure,
they can give us a call in West Michigan, 616-301-3333. You can find us online at www.sinasdramis.com, or shoot us an email at info@sinasdramis.com.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks for having me.